We're good? Okay. So here we go. To start, I'd like to thank Pastor Ryan Mills, who's not here with us today, but I'd like to thank him and Hope Church for hosting us, and also the Hope Church staff who's been with us all day, helping us with tech support and anything that we've needed. So thank you very much for making this event possible to us, especially in person. It was such a struggle to find a place to do this in person at a short notice. We did not know that this would be possible, but here we are today doing this, and we're really, really excited. Last year, this event was canceled. It was the first year that we had to cancel the event. It was one of the realities of the pandemic. Since then, our lives have not been the same. There were many testimonies been shared on the pandemic, and so today I will spare us the details of the same and focus on the reason why we are all here. So we're gathered here today to cheer on a group of incredible high school students who, despite the difficulties, have come together yet again and for a third time this year to put on an event. Throughout this year, the Sangamon CEO students have shown determination, hard work, competence, friendship, and kindness. They have come together as classmates and eventually as friends to navigate a most interesting senior year, one that none of us have ever experienced before. So our students did not have a blueprint for what should be, and so they made the best of it. Last fall, our students put together a tennis tournament. More than 120 players competed at Washington Park. 2 months later, we opened an outdoor ice rink, and more than 3,000 community members visited. Now we have a trade show and a pitch-off competition. So these young professionals are very impressive, and I would just like to take a minute to recognize them. So let's take a minute in recognition of our students. I am your host this evening. This is the best it can get. I'm right here. I will guide us through this final round of presentations. Here's some rules. The students have been here since 7 a.m. They've been running their trade show all day. I encourage you after this to stop by, if you haven't yet, to stop by the gym and see their tables. During the day, 30 groups presented their business ideas to a group of sharks. These sharks are Sangamon CEO alumni who are doing amazing things, and we invited them to come back here. We are very happy they are with us today, so I would like us to recognize them as well. Alexis Demaret, Moshe Latif, Marley Stubblefield, Justin Holding, Mary Helen Healy, Roya Nasserpour, and Joseph Abibel. Where are you at? I would also like to recognize one last shark, UIS student Hannah Nicolaisen, who is the incoming director of TEDx U of I Springfield. Where's Hannah? So Hannah will be looking for TEDx speakers for next year. So if you're interested, please reach out to Hannah, right? Yes. Thank you. So now I will introduce the Sharks who will judge this final round. So please help me welcome Desiree Loxton, Senior Vice President of Corporate Citizenship at BUN. Ryan McCready, President and CEO of the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance. Kim Staff, third-generation business owner of Staff Carpet. John Stremsifer, CEO of the Community Foundation for the Land of Lincoln. And Bruce Summer, Director of Innovation and Economic Development at UIS and co-founder of the Sangamon CEO program. All right, here's my speech. Now I start. Dear friends, that's all of you, by the way. You're all my friends. Welcome to our 4th annual CEOs versus Sharks event. Each group has up to 6 minutes to present. Sharks have up to 4 minutes to provide feedback and ask questions. This round will last 3 hours. During this time, I ask you to please keep your phones on silent. You are welcome to take pictures and videos. This event is live streamed on YouTube on the Sangamon CEO channel. We will be pausing for one short break after group 6. Should you need to exit during the presentation, please be as stealthy as possible so you don't disrupt the presentation. Everyone was screened before the admission to this event, so while seated, you are welcome to take your mask off, but once you start moving around the building, it is mandatory that you put your mask back on. UIS has made rapid testing available to the public, so if any of you needs to be tested at some point, please talk to us after the event and we can share some information with you. So now, without further ado, let the final round begin.
So my name is Mackenzie Kreider,
I'm Callie Morgan.
and we are the CEOs of the Mixing Bowl. Next slide, please.
So why we're here? When you guys were younger, did you ever hear your moms downstairs cooking in the kitchen and you heard your electric mixer, your hand mixer start going and you heard the oven turn on and you knew that your mom started making cookies? So you ran downstairs and you tried to grab a bite out of the bowl before she could catch you and tell you that you couldn't eat it because it wasn't safe and you could get really sick from it. We're on to the next slide, please.
So we have a fantastic solution for that. Our solution is heat-treated flour and cookie dough with no egg, which allows it to be edible straight from the bowl. Next slide, please.
So our competition, we know that we come from Springfield, Illinois, which we do have a few competitors throughout the area, also as well as any other type of dessert. So our job is to convince people that they should come with our edible cookie dough instead of other dessert options. So we offer homemade cookie dough. And then we also have unique flavors and the childhood nostalgia feel of having something straight out of a bowl, which is not something that our other competitors offer.
Next slide, please. Our strategy is a consistent posting schedule, and we share our posts on our personal social media accounts, Instagram and Facebook both, as well as customers sharing our posts, which will allow us to eventually reach more customers throughout our time. Next slide, please.
Thank you. So our business model. So that's what we're doing. All right, so our business model is to sell products through our social media pages. We have our Instagram and Facebook set up currently. We wanted to keep the personal feel of delivering things to our customers face to face. So due to COVID, we're willing to drop things off at people's door and do electronic payments through Venmo, but we prefer, and as well as most of our customers prefer, to have a face-to-face conversation and interactions when picking them up. So we've been super careful about following all COVID guidelines, as well as we made sure to get our food handler's license and follow all the proper protocols to make sure that everything is done safely and the way that it needs to be done. Next slide, please.
Our target market depends on which social media platform we look at. Our Facebook, we've recognized that we're primarily women from age 35 to 44, and for our Instagram, we are also primarily women from age 18 to 24. Next slide, please. So this slide is 3 different customers who have all purchased different types of cookie dough. The first one says that they love their cookie dough. The second one says yes, and that has been a repeat customer multiple times. Our last one was also a classmate who loved our cookie dough, and she's also been a repeat customer. Next slide, please.
So our growth in finance started with a small loan from our parents to help cover our first batch of ingredients. We had our first launch in the end of February, and we sold out completely, and since then we've been completely self-sufficient. We're estimated to sell around 600 units by the end of the summer, and each container is 6 ounces, and depending on the flavor, goes for anywhere from $3 to $5 a container.
Next slide, please. As far as our customers go, we have reached a little bit under 100 customers, and we hope to exceed our 100 sometime in the near future. As far as our sales go, we have sold over 300, and we hope to keep going up so we hit that 600 mark sometime soon.
Next slide, please. So you can find us on our Facebook and Instagram. So far, we've been, like we said, had a pretty consistent posting schedule. But with the summer coming up and both of us being done with school, we hope to have a summer campaign and as well as launching some new summer flavors to keep everyone excited and interested in our business. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Works as well, so.
Yes, keep your mics on.
Okay. Well done and nice job adapting. So the Cookie Dough Cafe from Bloomington, Illinois, have you heard of them? So they were on Shark Tank about 8 years ago, and they got a lot of money. So, and they've done something very similar. How many flavors do you have?
We currently have 8 flavors, and every week we try and introduce a new flavor and take one away, so we keep around 4 to 5 flavors a week.
Okay. You know a good customer that may be? Bun Gourmet, I think, would be an ideal customer. So I'll give this back to Desi for her next question.
Thank you. I agree. Nice job. You just landed on your feet, so that's tough to do sometimes. What kind of margins do you have on your product?
So we sell our products for around, like I said, $3 to $5, and depending on the flavor, it costs us anywhere from 70 cents to $1.50. So we make roughly $2.50 per container, depending on the flavor.
Okay, that's a nice margin. Are you going to pay your parents back?
Are
you going to pay your parents back the
we
loan?
actually already have paid them back. So that first week, we ordered 50 containers with hopes of being able to sell all of those. And by the time we both work a job, we got off work and we were sold out. And we had to immediately post a sold out post because we had sold close to 100 that first week, which was not expected. So we were able to pay them back within that first week. We spent about $150, and we were able to pay them back and then pay ourselves back as well.
Good for you. That's great.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Have you guys thought of moving forward with other people opening edible cookie dough and things like that to make yourself stand out as a locally family-owned business? Have you thought about a rewards program or maybe investing in different types of containers so to incentivize a customer to come back, repurchase from you, and also reuse the container that you've already given them? Have you thought about any other plans to move forward in the sense of how you can make sure you lock in that next customer to come back, punch cards or anything like that?
We actually have not thought about that, and that's a great idea. I'm glad you mentioned that because we could totally look into that next. The only thing we've looked into for the future is going to a farmer's market. After we finish Shark Tank, we'll both be graduated, and before we go off to college, we are very interested in doing that. Unfortunately, we haven't looked into a rewards program, but it sounds like a good idea.
Awesome.
Again, nice job. Looking at your Facebook and Instagram demographics, it looks very female-centric. So speaking on behalf of a couple of the male sharks here that may have the waistlines to prove it, men like cookie dough too. Do you have a strategy for getting to the male audience?
We've looked at incorporating different flavors. I know my stepdad is a huge foodie, so we've definitely gotten his advice on different flavors. I can attest that all of the flavors have been approved by him before they were released. We should definitely look into more mail marketing, but we've so far, since we have been extremely busy with school and sports and all of that, we've stuck to what we know and what people that have kept coming to us. But I definitely think it's a great idea to start marketing to the different demographics to increase our business.
Maybe biscuits and gravy flavor.
Biscuits and
If
gravy.
you can find a recipe,
not.
we are more than happy to take suggestions for it.
Don't do the biscuit and gravy idea. So, does your product require refrigeration? And no.
So it doesn't for a long period of time. Yes, it does. The only thing in it that could potentially go bad is butter. And I don't know about you guys. I've seen my grandparents leave sticks of butter on the counter for a couple days at a time. So you can leave it outside. I wouldn't leave it outside, but you can leave it out of a refrigerator for a couple of hours to a day, and you don't have any problems about it going bad.
Right.
There
And-
are a couple flavors that do have heavy cream, like our red velvet has heavy cream in it, so that one I wouldn't suggest leaving out. And then another one has milk in it, so that probably wouldn't be a good idea unless you're feeling like that might be the route. Personally, I wouldn't do it. That you can freeze them or refrigerate them both. Work perfectly fine.
And with the state fair maybe coming back to town this year, if you can put cookie dough on a stick,
Deep fried.
deep fry it. that might be an opportunity.
Again, not
so,
something that we've thought of, but we
Right,
could
that's
definitely
right.
test it out.
Right, we did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Our next presentation is the Beach Hut. Go for it. Bye.
How about now? Okay.
Callie is pampering the sharks with cookie dough.
I know, I think this is bribery or something.
The acceptable kind.
Everybody is enjoying his cookie dough. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Tori Harmony from Springfield High School, and my business is the Beach Hut. Next slide, please. The Midwest is my home, but it is not where I am meant to be, and it's not where I belong. I love traveling, especially when a beach is nearby, and it's everything about the beach. It's the sand beneath your feet, it's the sounds of the ocean, it's the fresh sunshine that you get to feel at all times. And everyone is so much nicer at a beach, you kind of notice. Everyone's so friendly and open, and so I was a little like, why does this happen? So I did some research on this, and I found that 20% of Americans suffer from seasonal depression, 6% of that being severe seasonal depression. I continued to look into this and found that those residing less than 1 mile from the beach were 40% less likely to experience symptoms of mental health disorders. Next slide, please. The effects of these mental health disorders would cost the global economy $16 trillion by the year 2030, And as well, in the year of 2030, this would cost the economy 132 billion working days lost. So 132 billion lost days of productivity. Next slide, please. My solution is to bring the beach to my customers. I hand make all of my products, and I make them in hopes of making my customers think that they're living on a coast somewhere, or to bring back these happy beach memories, or just give them the feeling that a beach is nearby, to give them a little bit of happiness. Next slide. The value of my product is that with an increase of happiness comes an increase of productivity. Next slide. My target market is 17 to 47-year-olds. Now, I've split this into two different groups because 17 to 25-year-olds are more likely to live in college dorm rooms and apartments, while 26 to 47-year-olds are more likely to be homeowners. I cut off the age at 47 because the Dutch Bank of Research found that the average age of a homeowner as of November 2019 was 47 years old. Next slide. My competitors are huge online places like Karen's Beach House and Cottage and Bungalow. Cottage and Bungalow has handmade products, but they're from artisans around the world, so meanwhile they are handmade, you have a more personal, sentimental connection with me because you're ordering personally from me. Neither of these competitors are very affordable. I make wall hangings for at most $35, while some of their wall decor and wall hangings can be hundreds, like maybe $500. And Cottage and Bungalow does reach the hut style and vacation home style, but Karen's Beach House only does the vacation home style, which is more of like a vacation home in Cape Cod rather than a hut or a little shed on the coast in the low country somewhere, which is more what I'm going for, but I can do both based upon request. Next slide. The team is myself. I shop for all of my materials, and I hand make all my products all on my own. I also run my own Instagram, choose when to drop all my products, and I am the person to be contacted when an order wants to be placed. Next slide. My finances. So I have 4 main products, and those are keychains, bracelets, dream catchers, and macrame wall hangings. The keychains are about 20 cents to make, but are sold for $8 to $9. This is because I see keychains being sold for upwards $15 and selling out every time for about the same amount of materials. So I figure, and especially for the amount of time it makes, $8 to $9 is reasonable. The bracelets cost about 2 cents to make, but are sold for $5 to $9 because of the time it takes to make them. Dream catchers are made for under $3, but sold for $15 to $22 because of the time, again, that it takes to make. And the same with macrame wall hangings. They're made for about $4.72, but sold for $25 or $35 just because it does take, 2 or 3 hours to make one. So that's the same as working at 2 or 3 hours at like a minimum wage job. Next slide. My marketing strategy is to sell all these products on Instagram. I would love to extend to Etsy and Facebook and maybe even a website in the future, but I first really want to build my platform and build my loyal customers on Instagram first, so they would follow me to those platforms and I would have a little bit of a base for myself. And how it works is that I tell my customers when I'm going to drop, and then I drop about 15 products. And then to comment on the Instagram is when they get it. But I tell my customers to pay attention to the captions because sometimes I can remake a product. So if someone has commented that they want something, then you don't have to get discouraged because sometimes in the caption I can still remake it because I have product left over to make it. Next slide. In my first month of March is when I had my first drop and I sold 15 products. I continued to sell a little bit more product in April, and then I see a huge jump from May to July because of how much free time I have in the summer to make so many products and to have more frequent drops. I see a little bit of a slowdown though in August just because I want to try to build my market while away at college. I won't have many personal connections there right off the bat, so I just really need to build my market there, so that's why it's slowing down a little bit. But from August to January, I see a big jump again because of, gift giving, Christmas time, and then just a steady growth from there on up. Thank you, and I'm willing to answer any questions you may have.
Great job. I was thinking that maybe another advantage you may have is that, unlike your competitors, your products are not all the same. And so since they're made a few at a time, you won't go to somebody's house, right, and see exactly that same product? Is that the case?
Correct. Yeah. So I can, like I said, like remake things at some times, but I kind of make the products based on what I see as popular or what I see as really selling or what I see in movies like pop culture. So that does make it more trendy and more rare to find.
Okay.
Correct.
Great job.
Thank you.
I love how you started out with the problem, a very significant problem, and then delivering, how you're solving it here. And it seems to represent you well. What's the best, what's the story or the experience you want your customer to have? Is it the beach? Is it just kind of a relaxed lifestyle? Or yeah.
Yes. So once I started making these products, they were like they weren't as good as they could be, but even hanging them in my room, like it just made me feel so much better because I was like, this looks so cute. It looks like I'm on a beach somewhere. And that was exactly what I was going for and the feeling I was trying to give. So I realized like this is something I could pursue and really give my customers that same feeling, which is my main goal.
I think you did a great job. The confidence that you have behind your brand is beaming through you, which I think is great. The one question that I have, when you look at all the products as a whole, I know the most expensive, I can't pronounce,
Macrame.
macrame, yeah. That one you kind of broke down that by the time that you make it and your material cost, you have, averaged out to make comparably to minimum wage. When you factor all the product categories, have you broken down what you're making an hour?
Yeah, I can, so today's drop, I guess at the trade show, I just spent a whole day, like a 7-hour day, making 15 products, and altogether it would be about $100 to buy all of them, maybe even more if people put in more orders for keychains, which only take like 15 minutes to make. So I could throw even more of those into an 8-hour day, and so my math is not very quick, but maybe
So
like
you
15 an
the
hour.
15 products you'd sell for 100, and then you've got 7 hours, and then on top of your material cost with it. Okay.
Correct.
Is there one that you think does better than another one for you?
Yes, the macrame wall hangings do very well. When I did my first drop, that was the first thing to go, and I had more people asking if I could remake it.
Okay, awesome.
Those of us that went to college in the 70s know how to say macrame. Yeah, it's just very vivid in my mind. So great job. I think your margins are interesting. I wish there was that kind of margins in dispensed beverage equipment. But what I like is that you are looking about your time is worth something. And don't ever apologize for that. It is. It really is. One of the things I've noticed during the pandemic is supply chain disruption. Have you had any problems getting your materials?
I have not. I acquired everything from Hobby Lobby, which is super accessible, especially for me just living kind of down the street from it. So everything's been super accessible, and I haven't had any problems. And I kind of just go off of a wing. Like I just shop, and I'm like, this looks like I could turn it into looking beachy. So I don't really go in with a plan. I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just completely like I just see things, and I'm like, oh, that would look good here, and I just start imagining like the product.
Yeah. Well, as you grow, you probably want to think about becoming a wholesale customer somewhere so you can improve those margins even more. So, good job.
Thank you.
Again, great job. Your product seems to match you, your personality. Is that right? Would you agree?
I agree. That's a very, very nice compliment. So I'm like, oh my gosh, no way.
You've made me feel more relaxed just in your presentation, so kudos.
Thank you.
But on your team, it's you. Would you ever see getting someone else involved? And if you did, do you think that would lose that kind of personal feel that you've built here?
I do, depending on the person I choose, is I think what would be the biggest like determinant of that personal feel. Like I wouldn't choose someone to help me who wasn't very personable or extroverted or like relaxed, like you said. I would really want them to kind of fit the same energy. So I think I could keep that personal touch there, and then someone like also with talent that could be able to make these. Or even if not, because you can train someone to do this, you can't train someone to be a nice person.
Good point. Well done.
Our next presentation is AIM.
Hold on. Okay. Hey everyone, I am Asia Smith and I am the creator of AIM. Throwback to 2 years ago, I'm on my daily drive out to our high school and probably listening to country music as any Pleasant Plains student typically would, and all of a sudden I hear this loud bang. Drive a couple more miles and my tire pressure lights start flashing on my dashboard. Drive a couple more miles, I'm finally at our high school, hop out of my car, walk over to my passenger side, and what do you know, flat tire. I think to myself, why do I not know how to change this, and why do high schools not teach us this? Next slide, please. That's when I found this statistic. 37% of the knowledge and skills learned in high school are used by Americans. 63%, yes, 63% of the knowledge and skills we learn in high school, we never use in the real world. This lack of preparation leads to students saying, I'm too scared to live on my own. Or, how do I write a check? How many teaspoons are in a tablespoon? How do I sew this hole in my brand new jeans? How do I draft an email? Or, what does al dente actually mean? According to my survey, when asking students who have previously graduated high school if they felt it prepared them with the needed skills for the real world, only 2.2% said yes, high school prepared them with the needed skills for the real world. Because of this, I've decided to create a free after-school program. More than 2/3 of adults in the United States are considered obese or overweight. And according to a food economist from the USDA, she found that eating out at least one time a week contributes to about 2 additional pounds a year. And more than half of Americans eat out 3 or more times a week. Due to this, I have decided to focus on cooking in my after-school program, but it will also include topics such as housekeeping, home repair, auto repair, financial literacy, basic sewing, and public speaking. Achievement, independence, and mentorship will all be obtained in this class, as these are all essential skills that will last a lifetime because, let's be honest, life skills are never going away. They will always be here. This class will be a resource for those who are incapable of providing for themselves, and that way no high school student will ever face the fear of adulthood or lack the preparation for the real world. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yep, thank you. My target market is freshmen through seniors in high school, specifically those of lower income. Now, some believe that teaching life skills is the responsibility of the parents. I believe it should be left to the schools, because what if a kid has a bad home life? According to childhelp.org, a child abuse report occurs every 10 seconds. It's not just abusive households, but also families of lower income and parents who just simply don't have the time. I've been blessed with endless resources, mentors, and accessibility ever since I've been little, and what about those kids who don't have that access? I want to be that tool for them. That's why I target lower income. Next slide, please. Marketing will occur through our high schools and their daily announcements, the flyers and banners hanging throughout the schools, and it will also be through their weekly newsletters sent out to parents and students. It will also be through word of mouth. If one student participates in it, they're going to be likely to tell other students about it. It will also be through my website. Next slide, please. My business model is donation-based, and it will be based on grants and fundraising. And according to After School Alliance, between 2006 and 2010, their programs raised over $1 billion for their after-school programs, proving that after-school programs yield positive results. It will also be volunteer and donation-based. Guest speakers such as life coaches, professors, parents, restaurant owners, they'll come in, donate their time, and help teach these classes. Next slide, please. A few of the challenges that we will face are current consumer ed, public speaking, and shop courses. However, according to studyfinds.org, we forget about 40% of the knowledge we learn in high school. And that is because classes such as consumer ed and public speaking, they're all focused on memory. They're all memorization. And this leads to students feeling confined to the classroom. Shop classes are also taken as blow-off classes, let's be honest. And so AIM, we will focus on strictly hands-on learning. Another challenge we will face is fatigue and burnout, because what kids are going to want to come and learn 1 to 2 hours after an already 7-hour school day? Because of this, we'll have multiple options for classes, such as in the evening, Saturday, Sunday, even during the summer, and essentially it'll be no different than if a student signed up for an ACT prep class outside of school. Next slide, please. As for growth, the first year we're going to start local here at Pleasant Plains as I go to Pleasant Plains, and slowly we'll work our way to the surrounding schools such as Athens, Auburn, Riverton, then slowly reach out to Chatham and Rochester, and then that 5th year we will reach District 186 and be covering all of Sangamon County. Ultimately, the end goal of all of this is for high schools to really start adopting and implementing these life skill courses in their curriculum. That way, students will not have to worry about that fatigue and burnout and going on their own time and learning about it. Thank you, and remember, always aim a little bit higher than you think you can, and I'm open to any questions.
Okay, I'll start. So I'm the president of the Community Foundation here in the community, so we grant money to all kinds of not-for-profits. So and I love this, it's great, and I agree with a lot of what you've said here today. Have you looked at competition in the not-for-profit world, other after-school programs that you would want to replicate in some way or even partner with?
Yeah, I know the Matthew Project, they're here locally, and then the places such as the YMCA, they also have after-school programs, and that's definitely something I would want to work with. I differentiate from them in that my target are freshmen through seniors in high school, and a lot of those places such as the Y and the Matthew Project, they kind of provide those tools focused on like time management, study skills, homework, stuff like that, but I want to teach them the life skills such as changing a tire and sewing a hole in your jean and things like that.
Cool. As you get going, give me a call.
All right, thank you.
So great job. So I am responsible for philanthropic efforts at Bonomatic. So if you were going to ask me for money for this project, what would you say to me to convince me to give you cash?
I'd say you've been through high school before, and now you've obviously lived on your own, and I don't know if you've had children or not, but you want them to be as successful as possible, and in order for us to, I think, honestly advance like as a society and as a whole, and for us to just get better together, we all need to be just literate in our life skills and have that knowledge, and that way we can then turn to other issues that are plaguing our world and stuff.
Nice, great job. And one final question, what about volunteers? It obviously would take some volunteers to run this program. Have you thought about how you might entice volunteers to come work with you?
Goodness out of people's heart. No, that, but then also
Good start.
just with various connections, and I know I've just talking with other students and talking with parents, and according to my surveys when asking students and people who want to participate in it, 91.8% of students said that they would take a life skills program. So, and also just talking with teachers, and yeah, again, according to my survey, a lot of people said that they would be willing to help because they know students who would be in it.
Okay, thank you.
So I thought this was great. I'm 30 and I live alone, and I was not taught a lot of life skills, and I am always consistently asking people that I work with help from other people as far as I don't even know how to change an air filter in my house. So understanding this I think is huge, but how are you going to launch it, and what is your big bang that you're going to do to attract people to buy in? Because the idea and everything is awesome, but even, like, how are you going to sell it? What would be your first event that you would have to get people to buy in?
Yeah, I definitely think there's definitely a lot of moving parts that would be incorporated, but I have the will, I would say, and I'd say that's probably why it hasn't happened maybe in the past, but definitely starting with social media and just the marketing aspect and reaching an audience and letting people know that there is a need for this, and that way when people know about it, then we can start doing those moving parts and getting the classes started.
With starting it, have you considered maybe talking to I would say over the summer, like Lutheran High summer camp, if that's still going on, or Nelson Center, depending on how they're going to do their summer camps this summer, and potentially, is that something that you could test out with them and the kids that they have there, where you bring something in to say, hey, who wants to learn how to, do this for, have you thought of certain things that you could do to get the ball rolling with that?
No, that'd be a great idea because the students then, the market, they're already there, and so I just have to bring
Yeah, so
the
maybe bringing the
posters to them.
service to, awesome. No, I think that's a great idea. Good job.
Did you say you hope then that this incorporates into the school curriculum afterwards? So you would start in the initiative and then it would just be part of the school?
Yes, yeah.
I like that idea. How do you, could you explain that further? So then it's not you, is AIM still executing on it? Or is that become the district's kind of program?
Yeah, so I'd first like to start with it being AIM and being an after-school program, but then hopefully once high schools see the success of these classes, because originally I had thought of this, I know a lot of people say CEO is one of the best classes they've ever taken, but I completely agree with this because I've learned more here in this class than I have in my 4 years of high school, and it really highlighted kind of the issues of the curriculum of the current high school classes, and I'm just like, I do not know like any of this from classes, so if we can start implementing that into the curriculum, then that'd be great.
Influencing that activity. And honestly, as a co-founder or CEO, that's what his intention was, to influence the curriculum. So, well done.
Thank you.
Our next presentation is Giving Graciously.
Okay. So hi, my name is Grace Petty, and I'm the creator of Giving Graciously. So as we all know, this past year has been super difficult for all of us, not being able to do the things or see the people that we love most. I've noticed many people in my life struggling with their mental health, and after sending out a survey to 274 people in my target market, 56.7% said that they struggle with anxiety, and 29.5% said that they struggle with depression. These numbers are at an all-time high, and this is why I created Giving Graciously. My solution is a bright-colored and empowering t-shirt and sweatshirt company where I'm geared towards spreading happiness, positivity, and ultimately sparking a conversation when people see my product and wear my product. After sending out my survey, 70.5% of people said that they feel better and their mood increases when they wear bright colors and empowering shirts, and 79.9% said that they feel better and their mood increases when they spend money, because we all know retail therapy works. With my business, you get both of these as you are wearing a bright and empowering shirt that serves as a constant reminder to spread happiness and positivity, and you're getting something new. My way to help is by donating 20% of the profits to the JED Foundation, which was created by a husband and wife whose son took his life due to mental health struggles and issues. I wanted to help because I felt like I could really connect with this brand and this foundation because they go out to different schools, workplaces, and establishments and really spread the word about their story and their support system for anyone who needs it. According to my Instagram insights, my target market is mostly women, even though all my products are unisex, so both can buy. And I am working on making more products that men would like to buy. And my target market is also ages 13 to 24, so teens and young adults that I know are really struggling with these mental health issues and the group that I really can connect with most. My main source of marketing is through Instagram, as I found that it's the most effective way to reach my target market, which is teens and young adults. What's nice is whenever I was taking my photo for my product, I got people from different schools, ages, locations to be in these photos, which would help spread my word and spread my mission even more. So this helps with my word of mouth. And then I accept Venmo and cash, and I do pickup and shipping as well. Compared to different competing companies like t-shirt companies locally and different places like Walmart or fast fashion places. Giving Graciously is higher quality. I spend a lot of time picking out the products and transfers and sweatshirts themselves to make them the highest quality possible. And I have different drops. So I've done a t-shirt drop and a sweatshirt drop. So this is from my t-shirt drop, and I only do a limited number, so this raises the value because these t-shirts are basically sold out. And and Giving Graciously is more personable as I make each product myself, and I add a note included in all. And then I am more easily accessible as you can pick up the day of, or I ship within 1 to 3 days. So each t-shirt costs about $9 to make, and I sell them for $20. This profits me about $11 per shirt. And each sweatshirt costs about $10 to $15, and I sell them for $30 to $35. So this profits me about $20 per sweatshirt. On each month, on average, I've profited about 43%. Since starting my business in September, I've seen a steady incline in sales, and I'm hoping to see more as I'm planning on taking my business to college and reaching a wider variety since I will be in a different state. And I've seen a jump in January because that's when I started releasing my sweatshirts. And something I found is that as I am more consistent and more accessible on my Instagram and on my social media, then that's when I get the most sales. So I'm going to start being more consistent as school is starting to come to an end, and I'll have more time in the summer. I really want to make a difference, and I really want people to feel more loved and feel special and really feel more encouraged after buying from me. I really want them to have a great customer experience, and these are just a couple of examples of people who have bought from me. This shows part of my marketing tool, as many people, whenever they buy a product, they post it on their social media, which helps me to really spread my message and my mission around to as many people as I can. There's not another side. Well, keep up with Giving Graciously on Instagram to stay tuned with what's next. Thank you.
Very nice job and impressive sales. And I love the testimonials. From when you launched this, what kind of have you gotten feedback from your consumers? Like, you're assuming they like this message. Are there other messages that you've adapted to meet their requests?
Yes, so I've talked to a lot of people, and honestly, just seeing the message on the front serves as a constant reminder, because you see a lot of people usually on a day-to-day basis. Maybe it's different this past year, but you see a lot of people, and it serves as a constant reminder. You see yourself in the mirror, so you can see like a positive message always. And yes, a lot of people have reached out to me saying, you know, like, I really love your mission and what you're doing. I've noticed a big difference in people just seeing that people are working hard to make a difference.
Great job. Have you thought about doing any type of seasonal clothing to
Yes.
bump sales up maybe during times of the year where your sales aren't as high?
Yes, so my products aren't really based around like seasons, like winter clothes or anything like that. So my products are mostly consistent with just empowering sayings. But during winter or during different seasons, I will have sales to increase more people coming to my site and making more traffic on my Instagram.
I love that you're calling everything a drop and only having limited quantities to create the demand. Are you sourcing out the pressing, or are you doing that yourself?
Yes, so I purchase my sweatshirts at wholesale, and then my transfers I'm not making, I'm getting them from a transfer place. It's not local, it's shipped to me because I really wanted to get the best quality that I possibly could.
Awesome, awesome.
I echo that. Nice job. I think your purchase for a purpose is really interesting. That's a very popular way to go to market these days. How did you pick Jed?
Yes, so I was actually doing a lot of research because I wanted to find a foundation that I really could relate to. And there is a lot of stories out there. I know we all know people personally. And I found the Jed Foundation, and it was really personal to me because I know people who have been that age and gone through the same struggles that he went through. And I really liked how they go out and teach people. Like, they're not just a foundation that accepts donations. Like, they actually go out and teach to help this issue.
That's great. And one final question. Where do you come up with your great sayings? Thank you for my sweatshirt. I love it.
Yes. I kind of look all over Pinterest just for different happy quotes or different ideas. My sister helps me too. We kind of just brainstorm. We think of cool things that would be cool on a shirt, I guess. So yeah,
That's nice.
just brainstorming ideas and then picking the best out of those.
Great. Good job.
Thank you.
Great job. Desi stole my question there at the end. Darn it. But could you customize if a customer wanted their own saying on the shirt? Would you accommodate that, or would that be outside of your model?
Yes, so I could potentially work on doing that. I've had a couple requests for customizable shirts, but right now that's not what I'm doing, just the same empowering sayings, but hopefully in the future I'll be able to do customizable shirts.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next presentation is CK Kavanaugh Photo.
Hi guys, I'm Claire Kavanaugh and my business is CK Kavanaugh Photo. I have a problem, and that is that I spend way too much time on my phone. I think it's a problem we all probably can relate to. And on my phone, what I do most of the time is scroll through social media. And I spend a lot of time looking at other people's pictures of their family and their friends and what they have to post, which is super weird, and we pretend like that's normal, but we love it, and I love it, and that's why I do it all day long. But after talking to some of my friends, I've realized that we spend so much more time consuming other people's pictures than we do our own. And I think it's because our pictures are so readily available to us because we all have our phones 24/7, so we can just whip out our pictures whenever we want, that we forget how important they are and how valuable they are. And on the next slide, you can see that according to a survey I sent out, nearly 90% of respondents wish that they had more meaningful pictures of themselves and of loved ones, which to me is super telling because if we want more pictures, you think you just take out your phone and take them, right? But I don't think it really works that way. We don't value and treasure our pictures as much because it's so easy for us now. Next slide. As a solution, I want to provide people with affordable photographs that they can have as keepsakes for the rest of their lives rather than just as used iPhone storage that doesn't really mean anything to them. And you can go to the next slide too, thank you. I think that when people take time to get ready for their pictures and to plan them and show up for them, wait for them to be edited and return to them, that their pictures are so much more important to them that way, rather than just as iPhone pictures that they take with the snap of the button. Next slide, please. My target market is families and high school seniors in Central Illinois, and I pulled these insights from my social media, and you can see that most of my following is women. And I think this is because when it's the families having a session, it's usually the moms planning it, not the dads. Or it's the senior girls who want the full session rather than the senior boys. And if it is a senior boy, it's usually their mom texting me and asking me if I can take their son's picture. Here's an example of my first audience, my first market, and that's families. Whether it's starting your family and having a new baby or your family expanding and you have all your great-grandkids and your grandkids, these are all super important phases of life that we want documented. And on the next slide, you can see my second market, which is seniors in high school. And this is also a super important chapter of life because you've just finished up your 4 years of high school and you're moving on to college. It's a new phase of life. You're moving out of your parents' home and you want pictures to commemorate that. I run my business by myself. I do it on my own. I plan my pictures. I take them. I edit them on my own. I post and I market myself. And I would just like to mention I clearly really like these pants because I'm wearing them right now, which is kind of embarrassing, but we can ignore that. For marketing, I'm using Instagram solely because Instagram is completely reliant on photo content for page growth, which is perfect for me because my business is completely visual and relies on visual aesthetics, so it goes hand in hand. And also I found Instagram's really easy. It's a nice way, it's a nice tool to reach my audience, whether that's through story polls or people reposting through DMs. It's been a really great tool, and it's been the easiest way to communicate with my audience. When I started my business in 2017, I spent about $2,500 on camera equipment, and now annually I spend roughly $240 on editing software per year, and which is a relatively low margin. And that doesn't include the money I spend on gas driving to and from sessions, and then the time it takes me to edit the sessions. As of August of last year, I've had 32 sessions, and I made about $2,405 in profit. And then that doesn't include, for May, I have 8 sessions booked out, which will equate to about $800. I measure the growth of my business in the number of sessions I have, because over the years I've changed the price of my photos. Just with the more experience I've had and the less time and availability I have, I've raised my prices. So that would be kind of an inconsistent way to measure my growth. So I measure through number of sessions. And from 2019 to 2020 was my biggest jump, my biggest growth I've had. And I know this is because that's when I was my most active on social media. And I know that if I continue to be active and diligent about social media, that my business will continue to grow. Since March of this year, I've tried to be really consistent on social media with posting times of day, things like that. And I've noticed, or through my Instagram insights, I've seen that my content interactions have gone way up, about over 200%, and the accounts I've reached has gone up about 80%. These are some statements that I've collected from people who I've taken their pictures of. And one thing I notice is a commonality between all of them is their comfort level with me. And I think this is probably mostly because of my age, just me being younger and relatable to like the seniors' pictures that I take. They feel that they can get comfortable around me and in front of the camera a lot faster than I think if it were to be an adult taking their picture, which elevates my business and sets me apart. And also just the affordability and the cost has been super. I think it's been really nice for seniors in high school whose budget's not as large, and they feel like they can afford me and they don't have to give me an arm and a leg to be able to have their senior pictures taken. And if you want to keep up with me, I'm on Instagram at CK Kavanaugh Photo. Thank you.
Great job. I know you've been doing this since 2017, is that right?
Yeah.
So it's not a real long period of time. You got to go to school, other things. But how are you doing on repeat customers?
Yeah, I'm actually doing pretty well. I think a big part of that is my affordability. And so people don't feel as bad coming back to me multiple times. So I actually see a lot of repeat customers, especially seniors. They want like the fall session and the spring session.
Do you think that's due to the whole personality thing and comfort, or are you marketing to?
I hope so.
Yeah, sure.
I hope.
But are you also intentionally marketing to those people with follow-up reminders for the next event or that kind of thing?
Yes. And I've also given like discounts to people if they have 2 sessions kind of back to back. I try to do that so that it can be, more affordable and accessible to them if they are repeat customers.
Great, thanks.
Nice job. You have a really nice stage presence. You did a good job with
Thank
that.
you.
So I guess I would ask, what's the most unusual photo shoot you've done?
Most unusual?
If you can say it. I mean,
I can say, it's not like that. I don't know if I've done it on. I take the pictures for the SHG musical, and we did Cats one year, and that was a little odd.
Okay, yeah.
The costumes were a little, they were interesting, but nothing. I don't do anything like crazy.
No, that's good. All right, good job. Thank you.
So I love the following that you do on your Instagram page, and as far as the pictures and how you market on it, one thing I want to ask is, do you figure, have you broken down as far as, like you said, you've made 2405 or 2450 in the 32 sessions, and you have 8 coming up. Have you broken that down to what you're actually paying yourself an hour yet for your sweat equity? Or
I haven't actually ever broken that down, and I probably should, but the reason I haven't is because, however many years ago I spent that $2,500, and then I paid it all back. So to me, it's mostly my time that is, what's costing me, because I don't really have any ongoing expenses.
so moving forward, if you're going to make a career out of it, as far as and wanting to pay yourself as an expense or an overhead cost in your business, do you feel like your prices are going to have to, on average, if you have a senior photo shoot, let's say it's Ava Stone that you had up there, how much time did you have in shooting her, editing, delivering? Because that picture looked great on her grad invite, so it looks awesome. But how much time did you have put into that versus what you charged for the session?
So for that session, what I would have charged would be $75 for the 3 of them. And I would have put in maybe an hour. That would be So yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, as time goes on, I could see myself raising those prices, but I think for now, I've slowly increased my prices as years have gone on.
Yeah. No, I was just curious as far as what you're paying, or if you had it broken down to what you're kind of making an hour as far as with the editing and everything.
Yeah,
So,
I've never broken that down. I probably should.
well, I can tell you that all the people that I've seen in the last years, your pictures look better than people that have had experience for, 20 to 30 years. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Great job. Have you, once you take the photos, do you retain ownership of them, or when they're sent to your client, do they own them?
So they own them. I give out, once they pay me for the session and they're done, I give them all of their digital images back. So I know a lot of photographers, you have a flat fee for the session, and then they pay for each individual digital image. But for me, I just return every digital image, and they are free to download them as they wish.
And I've experienced both as a customer. I think that's an enormous value add that you should make sure you brag about, the fact that they own their photos afterwards. So, because they're great quality, and that gives the customer a lot more flexibility.
While photography's been around a while, there's been a lot of changes. What do you get excited about innovations of it in the future? And then how do you use that to differentiate your product or service from your competitors?
Well, something that goes along with that actually makes me nervous is the quality of iPhone pictures and how much that has advanced the last few years. But with camera quality advancing, iPhone camera quality advancing, camera quality, like real DSLR cameras and editing software is always advancing. So I think that we always have a leg up in just knowing how to work the camera and the editing software. I think people who know how to do that will always be ahead of a phone. That does make me nervous a little bit, but I think that in the end, there's nothing really to worry about because it's more about technique than about the technology.
Nice, well said. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
Our next presentation is Shuffled Selection.
Hi guys, my name is Jade Zhang and my business partners are Nidhi Venagala and Sophie Thurston. And our Sangamon CEO business is called Shuffle Selection. Okay. Next slide, please. I'm sure that everyone in this room has a memory or experience that's tied to music or a song in some way, shape, or form. Whether this is a wedding that you went to with your parents or a car ride that you had with your friends where you all sang along to your favorite song together. Music and memories are intertwined, but they both can't be expressed visually. Memories fade over time, and music taste can't be shared with other people unless you follow each other on some streaming platform like Spotify or Apple Music, or you actively tell them it yourself, your favorite bands or artists. But what if there was a way that you could express your music taste and your favorite memories physically?
Our product is a personal and customizable music-related room decor and accessories. We make Spotify glasses made out of clear plastic. We also make Spotify code keychains that link to a playlist, and we also make album cover keychains, and these all range from $6 to $15.
Our business strategy can be broken down into 3 main steps, where we will post our product on Instagram, our customers will pick them out, and then they will pay us. Next slide, please. Here you can see an example of how this will work in real life. Our customers can either find how to purchase our products in the highlights of our Instagram page or in the captions of our posts themselves when we launch our products and all our individual drops. They will DM us the name of the product that they want and the title of the song and a picture in the case of the glass album covers or album cover keychains, and finally they'll either pay us virtually through Venmo, or if they opt to go for the cash route, they'll pay us when we deliver the product in person.
Based on a Google form survey that was sent out to 48 respondents, we found that 69% of the respondents are very proud of their music taste, and the majority of respondents listen to over 2 hours of music daily, which shows us that there is indeed a market that is willing to invest their time and money into music. Next slide, please. Based on our Instagram research and our followers from our research, we found that 84% of our followers are teenage girls aged from 16 to 21 years old. And these girls usually tend to have disposable incomes. They also tend to have licenses in cars so that they can come and pick up our product. And our target market are teenage girls from 16 to 21 years of age that have disposable incomes, licenses in cars. And they usually tend to have band merchandise such as band tees or vinyls. And they also tend to have Spotify or Apple Music subscriptions because they tend to spend more money on music. Next slide, please.
So our marketing strategy is to post solely through Instagram using interactive posts, stories, and lives. An example of this is something we like to call Music Mondays. Customers send in their favorite song of the week for a chance to be featured on our story so our other customers can view their music taste as well. Next slide, please. Our competitors range from other Etsy and Depop vendors, as well as basic band tees, album covers, and vinyls. But what sets us apart? First of all, we are way more local than the Etsy and Depop vendors, making us more trustful. Compared to the band tees and the album covers, we are way more customizable, and on top of this, we have a faster production rate, whereas these things usually take about 1 to 2 weeks to ship out, we take about 1 to 3 days. Production and prices. So it takes about $5 to make our album covers and about $2 for each of our keychains. We set our prices at $15 and $6, taking into account of product and shipping costs, as well as looking at other products on the market, and they're about $6 to $7 higher than our price ranges.
We plan to launch on May 8th to give ourselves more time to make the products, which take about a half hour each to create. And this will also give us more time to gain more followers on our social medias, and this will put us right on track in time to sell more product for graduation season.
As Nidhi just said, we plan to launch during May, which is the peak of graduation season, so we hope to target graduating seniors and teenagers that are going to be buying going-away presents for their friends and family. Knowing this, combined with our previous knowledge of operating the LRS ice rink this winter, we believe that this first month of May will be our most profitable in terms of sales, before seeing an overall 20% decrease throughout the summer. But once again, we believe that there will be an increase in August due to back-to-school shopping and seniors buying final going-away presents for their friends and family, before seeing a decrease once again in the fall just due to us being at our separate colleges.
Connect with us. You can find us on Instagram at Shuffled Selections, and we hope we see you there. Thank you.
Very nice job. These keychains that we have, so this would be, what would I do with this as soon as I get it?
So if you have Spotify, download it on your phone. You can actually go into Spotify, and then once you go into the search, they actually have a feature where you go into the search bar, and there's a camera, and then you click the camera, and it scans and plays the song automatically.
Gotcha. So I'm going to do that right after this. This is very cool. I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
I want to thank Bruce for being brave enough to ask that question. So, but I was wondering that also. So that's really a neat feature to be able to do that. Do you have to have any expense or a formal relationship with Spotify or anybody else to do this?
We actually contacted the Spotify brand manager, just making sure that everything was legal. And we are allowed to use their logo, since this is a feature on their app that they want people to use. As far as the album covers, we can't use album covers because those are copyrighted, so customers have to send in customizable pictures, and so we push that out to our customers for them to use that.
Yeah, just building off of what Sophie said in our example pictures, so we can use collages that artists make themselves of music artists. So if you don't want to send in like a customizable picture of you and your friends or you and your boyfriend, you can ask for a picture of like Tyler the Creator, and then we can find an artist rendition of him or a photo shoot of him.
Very nice. Thank you.
My mind's blown that you can go into Spotify and scan a barcode now. So as far as, my keychain's different though, right?
Yes,
Okay.
you have the album cover keychain.
Awesome. So and that's where you're not copywriting it?
Yes.
Because cool. Have you, have you thought about like when you're launching this, like for Father's Day or Mother's Day, doing like those different kind of family gifts and things like that?
Yes, we're definitely posting out to graduates right now, but especially for Mother's Day, you know, hamming my friends on, hoping they buy something for their moms. So yeah.
Yeah, so you can customize the text that goes on the thing, like where the song title would be. You can write like "I love you" or like "I miss you." Or
A special date, anything we can type anything customizable. Yeah.
Have you thought about, as far as going outside of, like a lot of times people will team up with other, and what would be a really interesting thing if you're talking about being local versus like Etsy and things like that. Have you thought about getting in touch like with a lot of like the local bands and stuff that perform? They actually have music on Spotify, people that play out in like Dannenberger or, gosh, just the different bands. Have you thought about maybe reaching out to them and making a personalized one for them? So, because it seems like your price advantage compared to other people, this could be something that they could order 20 to 30 of and hand out at their concerts, and then that spreads the word for you guys even more.
That is a really good idea. We have not thought about that, but we will definitely take that into consideration moving forward.
Cool.
Thank you.
Who did you have? Oh, I have David Bowie. So, very nice job sharing the microphone. That's tough to do sometimes, so you guys did a great job with that. I would just ask, are you actually physically making these? You take the image and then put it in there?
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Okay. And is it easy or is it time consuming or?
So it's actually a sticker, and we just stick it on. We have to pop up the front frame and then pop it back in.
Got it. So you're in manufacturing. I like it. Okay. Thank you. Nice job.
Great job, yeah, and thanks, Bruce, for asking that question. Have you thought of other forms of entertainment, sports or movies or anything else that you could share an experience with someone that you could look into a whole other market of entertainment?
We have not thought about that just because we solely market towards like the music side of it, but that would definitely be something to take into consideration as we move forward.
We definitely hope to expand it more because we want to get out of music, and since it's customizable, customers can ask for anything. They can ask for like movies or sports too, and we hope to do that in the future.
Legend has it that Ryan McCready was a heck of a high school basketball player. I would take that keychain. Great job, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, you get me again. Hello. Hi. So, great job, right? Everyone, we heard from 6 groups. How are they doing? That's great. So we've heard from 6 groups. We are going to take a 10-minute water break. So if you need to get some water, we have water outside. You need to use the restroom, do that. We'll be back and starting over again at 3:30. So at 3:30, we'll start again with our next round of presentations. Thank you. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. We will get started again in 2 minutes. Where's Bruce? Okay, we are ready to start again. We have 6 more presentations, and we are starting with Thrifted Threads.
Hi, my name is Grace Mays, and I am the co-owner of Thrifted Threads. Next slide, please. For the longest time, I have been traveling to St. Louis, whether that is to visit my sister who lives down there or to go to a Cardinal game. I've been traveling there pretty regularly over the past couple years. And every time I go into St. Louis, there's always this certain hill. Go back, please. There's always this certain hill that I've seen progressively get bigger throughout the years. And over the time, I was wondering, why is this hill getting bigger, and what is this hill exactly? And this is when I saw this. Next slide. Under all of that grass is a ton of garbage. It is disgusting. It is a landfill that has progressively gotten bigger over the duration of a couple years. I did a little more research and found that, next slide please, I found that 85% of all clothing items, just clothing items, go to the dump every year. That's 85% of your closet going to the dump each year. Could you imagine that? And then I also found out that, you can go to the next one, 15%, that leaves 15% of clothing items being recycled or donated each year. That's 15% of your clothing items being recycled or donated each year. Next slide, please. And that is where we come in. Thrifted Threads is an online resale shop where we and my business partner go out to local thrift shops, the 15%, and purchase items to keep them from going out to the 85% that end up in the dumps each year. And what we do is we go out to local thrift shops, figure out what we like, example here, something we would wear, and then we resell them, take pictures, and then we resell them on Instagram. We do a bidding and bin process. So our customers are able to bid on items, whatever items they like, through our comment section, or they can bin, which stands for buy it now. And buy it now means you can skip the hassle of bidding and then buy the item for a higher price. Next slide, please. This allows us to reduce waste, again, eliminating that 85% or parts of it. It allows us to reduce price as well. Most of our items are lower than market price. And it also allows us to make a lifelong community impact. Next slide, please. My business partner, like I said, she is Maggie McLeod. She is not in Sangamon CEO, but both Maggie and I have done extensive research on the thrifting market. We have noticed an increased demand on thrifted clothing items. Next slide, please. Our target market, according to our insights on Instagram, is 97% women. This is due to the majority of women wanting clothing items and purchasing items that on our Instagram site. And some men can purchase our items, some unisex items, but some men can purchase also items for their significant other or their mother as well. Next slide, please. Our best marketing tool is you. So our best way to market is through our customers posting pictures of themselves on their own Instagrams or social media platforms. This allows their followers to come to our account as well. This is just a couple screenshots of those as well. Next slide, please. If you were to go on Instagram and look our Instagram up, which is Thrifted Threads, if you were to do that, you would come up to something that looks just like this. We have roughly 2,200 followers, and we only sell on Instagram. Next slide, please. We have sold roughly 500 pieces of clothing. Number of drops, we've had about 20 drops. For every month, our average impressions is about 3,000 people going onto our site. And our average interaction per post, every post, is about 800 people looking onto our post. Next slide, please. Shopping Thrifted Threads is no-brainer compared to offline resale. Thrifted Threads is much more personalized and selective. Like I said, we shop items that we would actually wear, like this mannequin right here. We would shop those items and we are selective compared to offline resale where they just purchase a number of quality of numbers and then they sell as much as they can of those things. We are accessible. Thrifted Threads, whereas offline resale, you have to go and purchase items, get up out of bed, and go out. Whereas if you just have a phone, you can buy Thrifted Threads items. Next slide, please. Our profit margin is insane. According to Imperial Capital, the average profit margin for apparel retailers is between 3 to 14%. Our profit margin is 90%. This is due to the majority of our clothing items being thrifted items, so the cost is lower to purchase. Next slide, please. Our future projections, we expect to grow increasingly throughout the next couple of years. So far, we have made around $10,000, and this allows us to continue to grow as well. In the next couple of years, we expect our purchases to be more and our drops to be more regular, and it allows us to be more present on our social media. Next slide, please. Connect with us. Join the Thrifted Threads revolution. We are on Instagram, and we are also expanding out to TikTok to introduce more marketing tactics. Thank you.
Wow, nice job. I noticed that you had a TM by your thrifted
Yes.
threads. It's not easy to say that. How long have you been trademarked?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not trademarked. I wish we
That was
were.
pretty impressive,
Wouldn't it be
huh?
nice? No, we are not trademarked, but that is just on our Instagram, that base mark.
Okay. And then when you go into a resale shop to buy, do you disclose that you're buying for resale?
We are actually very good friends of a lot of thrift stores around here
Okay.
because we go around all the time and they kind of know what we're doing.
Okay, just curious.
Most of the employees don't really care because the purpose of resale is to try to repurpose and redo clothing items and try to recycle through those.
Good. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Have you ever tried to get people to donate the products directly to you?
Yeah, we have definitely done some of that before, but majority of our clothing items are thrifted. We have done a partnership with a local artist. A local artist painted some jean jackets that we gave them, and then we posted those on Instagram for purchase, which was a really cool opportunity.
And kind of in the same vein, have you ever considered your type of entity as a not-for-profit because of the social purpose of recycling and reusing?
Yeah, considering non-for-profit, we have considered it a little bit, but once you start a business, it's really hard to change it into something new, into a different dynamic, but it is something that we would consider in the future,
Great.
potentially.
Nice job.
Thank you.
I think it's great. Are you familiar with how Urban Outfitters kind of started that section of their business too?
Yes.
I know you showed us the landfill. What else, how did you come up with your name, and what other influences caused you to, I guess, push you in this direction?
Yeah, well, as high school students, we wanted to make some sort of money, and we saw a problem, and we wanted to do something about it. So both of those things kind of came together. We came up with our name because it sounded really nice. The alliteration between the thrifted and threads was really nice. And also, we thrifted items, and then we turned them into threads that are valuable. And we came up with the idea because we wanted to make a change. When I saw that, you saw that picture. It is disgusting. So we really wanted to make a change because that is horrendous to see.
Are you and your business partner going away to at the same college?
We are not going to the same college, but what we plan to do is it's just a different structure of business. So we're going to be posting different drops, and then we're going to keep communication lines consistent as well.
And are you only going to stick with clothing, or are you going to do different accents and certain pieces that, are you only going to stick with clothing, or are you going to go into a different product category?
Yeah, we have considered other categories. We do shoes, hats, belts, and that allows more men to want to purchase items as well, because a lot of our clothing items are more directed to females, so that allows a different market to come in as well.
And do you guys deliver your products, or do you ship them?
Yes, we used to deliver them, but then we consisted into shipping as a more reliable form of getting the product to our customers. And the shipping has allowed us to get the product to the customer without them having to do a lot of work to get that and having them to actually share their location.
Awesome. Well, good job.
Thank you.
Have you ever considered consignment, where maybe I could give you something to sell on my behalf as opposed to me donating it to a thrift store?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have considered it, but the structure of our plan is try to eliminate the problem of landfills and that 85% of clothing items going into the dumps. So that recycling clothing is our number one goal.
And just so you know, the highest geographic point in Sangamon County is the landfill.
Yeah.
So Mount Trashmore is what I used to call it. So
It is extremely sad.
Besides the environmental value, what would you say your value for the customer? Are you curating ensembles like this, or are you,
Our value and customer approval is what we do is when we post the pictures, we create an outfit, right? We create that outfit, and then they are able to see it kind of on someone else, and that allows them to create more of an aesthetic. Our Instagram is unique because it allows people to see it on ourselves, and we pick outfits, again, that we would actually wear and that we think that most of our followers would actually wear as well.
So I don't have to go through the thrift store to find that. You're going to do that for me.
No, we do it for you.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Our next presentation, Lemon Drop.
name is Lisa Zavelski.
And my name is Julia Delano.
And our business is Lemon Drop. Next slide. So, as you may know, the fashion industry and everything is constantly changing in our world. And then here comes March 2020 and our world flips upside down completely. And so your commute to work that once had very sophisticated clothing and you were on your way to work or school has now turned into your Zoom meeting that you're lounging around your house in your favorite sweat set. And so, a year later, almost over a year later, me and my partner Julia still have our junior year prom dresses hanging in our closets. And we see that to be a huge problem. During quarantine, those sweats were the preferable option. And so now that we see that quarantine and the pandemic are slowing down, we see that people are going out more, doing their normal activities, and that they just don't have the accessories to signify joy. If you look around in this auditorium right now, everybody is wearing more neutral tones that are blacks, grays, whites, and they're signifying the depressing features of the quarantine and pandemic we've all been through. There's no more joy or bright colors that bring positive connotations. Next slide, please. And so we see evidence all around us. In this auditorium, in our classroom, we gave out a survey, and more than 40.4% of people wear black more than any other color in their wardrobe. Next slide, please.
So our solution was to create Lemon Drop, and we are a business. We sell earrings and a bunch of other jewelry, also decor and clothing. So when we first got started, we wanted to create core values, and we found 3 that were very important to us. First is to revolutionize design, and what we mean by that is to bring back those bright colors that we saw before the pandemic. We also want to inspire confidence. When you look good, you feel good. And we just want to see more people out and wearing better jewelry and just being out of their sweats again. Our last one was that we wanted to create accessible opportunities. I see cute boutiques all the time, but they're like $100 for just a pair of jeans, and I do not want to spend that much money at Free People, even if it is cute. So with our jewelry and clothing, we try to keep it very accessible so it's not exclusive just to one class.
Next slide, please. And so this is our business model. As you can tell, Julia and I do run our business, just the two of us. We have drops on Instagram where we curate all of our own products, whether it be tie-dyeing our sweatshirts, creating our jewelry, and our products are hand-delivered, whether that be a fixated rate for delivery for gas and other expenses, or we curate a time where they can pick up and meet us for the order. Next slide, please.
So to go more in depth on our business model, when we go out, we shop at Hobby Lobbies or Michael's, wherever we go. We tend to buy in bulk, so it's more expensive up front, but we can use those beads for a very, very long time. We still have beads from, say, December that we're using to this day because we buy so much, so it is cheaper in the long run. We then post our product. We give a caption describing what it is and a price, and then we do deliver only within Springfield city limits, and we do include that in our price so they don't have to worry about that fee, and then we do it all over again.
Next slide. And so here you can see the variety of bright color that we do try to bring to our community. You can see on the left we have one of our students, Sophia, who's repping our earrings. And then you can see one of our friends' mothers who are showing off one of our signs that we did for her home decor. So you can see that our target market really ranges from age to age group in our Sangamon County area. Next slide, please.
So here we are comparing Lemon Drop with Amazon. Quality-wise, Lemon Drop is a very high quality, and I myself have bought jewelry from Amazon in the previous, and I had a necklace and it broke within 3 days, sadly. Amazon is affordable, but like I said, it's not good quality. It won't last you long, and when you are shopping with Lemon Drop, you're shopping for an experience. We have customized packaging, and we write little notes for our customers, which is why they want to post it, because it's really something to be proud of, and we take pride in our work.
Next slide, please. And so we delved a little deeper into our Instagram insights, and we saw that our target market really targets women. 95.5% of our Instagram following base is women, while 4.5% is men. Next slide.
So to go more in depth with our graphs, we found that most of our followers remain in Springfield, so that's good with our delivering. And then we also have Rochester, Chatham, and New Berlin, which is not a surprise. And then for our target market age-wise, we have a lot of younger teen girls ranging up to our low 20s, including 18 to 24. And then we are considering expanding to Facebook so we can reach that older generation, because we have found more older people are on Facebook and not Instagram.
Next slide, please. And so here is our projected sales graph that we concocted. So in April of 2021, our sales kind of dipped a little bit as we were preparing for the trade show and creating products just solely for that purpose. However, we see that in the summer months, we will have a lot more time now that the school is going to be over, and so we will be curating a lot more products in the summer. And then as we delve into the fall, we'll be going into different college communities, and we'll be creating more of a target market fan base and just a more secure network there. Next slide, please.
Since we are Springfield residents, our community is very important to us, and so we came up with another 3 goals that we wanted to have. We want to get involved in our community, and we also want to bring joy. So the ways that we're going to do this is we are going to do pop-up shops hopefully this summer, and we are researching the idea of getting involved at the farmers market. And by bringing joy, we just want to do that through our products, and we also have considered going around and just doing random acts of kindness for people and telling them what we do and what our business is.
Next slide, please. And so you can find us on social media at @_lemondrop__, and that's on Instagram. As Julia mentioned, we are trying to convert more of our fan base onto Facebook as we want to reach more higher age crowds and appeal to more people in that way and grow our fan base. And so thank you so much for listening, and we hope that you will allow Lemon Drop to add a pop of color to your post-pandemic wardrobe.
I think we can all use some color for sure here, especially John, I think. Oh, he does have color. What have you learned the most out of this process, of this launch?
I think just like creating enough product to appeal to a larger amount of people. I feel like a lot of people wear similar products, so we kind of try to do a variety of styles, not just like one color or one kind of earring. We try to do different shapes, like we do these feathers and we do rounded feathers. We do these kind of beads, different things like that.
What are your margins, or how have your margins been?
Yeah, so it just depends for the products that we sell. Our most popular product are our earrings. We produce the most of those. Lisa is wearing a pair of feather earrings right now, if you can see, but we sell those for $10, and they take about $2 to make. And then for sweatshirts, those take about, I want to say $8 to $10, depending on how they customize it. You can tie-dye it, or you can get patches. And those we sell for anywhere from $20 to $25, depending on what they get.
I think the whole idea to use the pandemic and to bring joy is probably personally, I think one of the best marketing techniques that I've seen, and realizing everybody being in the neutrals. Are you saying anyone over 24 who's on Facebook is an older generation?
I'm on Facebook.
just on Facebook in general.
We did research, and so when we showed that picture with
Good thing I
one
don't
of our
have
friends'
Facebook.
mothers, we did research, and we found that people of 40 and over tend to be more on Facebook than Instagram. And so right now we are marketing a lot more towards our age group. And so when we go to college, she's going to Baltimore and I'm going to Mizzou. But we'll have new networks and new markets, but we still do want to include people who are older. 40 and up tend to be on Facebook, though.
And my last question, have you thought about, with starting this, have you thought about getting in touch like with other businesses? For instance, like I know iYoga sells certain things through them to support, people in Gypsy Soul. Have you thought about connecting with any of those businesses here and just making an inventory and having them sell through it? And
No, that's a really good idea, though. I have not thought about that. And I think that would be really important because it would give like a local flair to another local organization. So it'd be kind of getting to margins at the same time.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's awesome.
Well, as I sit here in the higher age group in my black and white, I'm feeling a little odd. No, I'm kidding. Great job. Have you thought about expanding your product line?
Yes, so we just started with jewelry, and then we kind of expanded into clothing. We do post sweatshirts, but those mostly go through custom orders. We made a post, you can DM us, you can tell us what you want, and we tend to do that. But in the future, we have thought of going more and trying to do pants and more clothing items.
And so you're both going away to college in different places. You currently deliver. How are you going to change your business model when you're away?
Yeah, definitely. So that delivery fee that we have fixated into our program, basically, we want to just convert that into a shipping cost.
Got it. Okay.
And just kind of play around with like how much it would cost if I went from this coast to this location or that kind of thing.
Sure,
so just
shipping tables.
see how
Good.
it depends on each location.
Okay,
Definitely.
nice job.
Bruce and I are still on MySpace, so if you're, it's really cool.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I maybe this is for all 8 of the presenters so far, is I'm really struck by the demographic audience. It's all pretty much female-centric. Have you thought about trying to develop products for young men or old men?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What are those? What are you thinking about?
So we already do these little crew necks, and they're tie-dyed, and they have patches on them. So we were thinking about just possibly creating a new survey and just sending them out to all the boys in our grade, just for example, and doing more colors that they're interested in, different designs, possibly different patches. And also we were thinking about doing maybe other like accessories such as belts, hats, something of that sort.
Cool. Thank you.
Our next presenter is Artie Shirts.
Hi. Okay. Hi, my name is Campbell Coker. I am a senior at Rochester High School, and my business is Artie Shirts. So I am a theater kid, and I know a lot of other theater kids, but I also know a lot of people that just go to theater casually. And I know a lot of people want something to commemorate that experience. However, what is available right now is not really what people are wanting. I have never met a person that I believe would really want to casually wear a shirt that says we're all lesbians. I mean, they could, but I don't really know a lot of people that really would like that. And there's also this shirt over here, this Wicked shirt. It's nice, but there's a lot happening on it. And so I made a few designs, and I sent out a survey to our class and to people I know from the Springfield area theater community. And I asked them, I gave them one of my designs and one of the designs from the official Playbill store. And 91.9% preferred my designs over the official designs. Next slide, please. Okay, so my dad and I were actually brainstorming about my business, and we came up with the idea of Artie Shirts and spelling it A-R-T-I-E, so I could have my little man on the back of all my shirts. I have him right there, and he brands all of my shirts. And these are just some examples of my designs. They're all really simple, so people feel more comfortable wearing them out in public, and also even if you're not really a theater nerd like myself, you'd still feel comfortable wearing them because they still have a very universal message, no matter if you are watching the musicals or if you just like the quote. So I like to say that I have the 3 A's of Artie Shirts. I have attractive, affordable, and approachable. So we've already covered the attractive portion, so let's go on to affordable. So my competitor, or my biggest competitor at least, is the Playbill store. They sell all of the official merchandise for Broadway. But right now, all of their sweatshirts are around $70 to $75, and all of their t-shirts are around $30 to $35, which is just something that I know I personally don't really want to spend that amount of money on a clothing item. So I made a solution. All of my stuff is still a very high quality. However, I am selling my sweatshirts for about $30, and I'm selling my shirts for about $20. So people my age and just anyone who really wants to wear these shirts would feel more comfortable spending their money on it. It costs about $5 to $6 to create a shirt. However, I am selling them again for $20, and it costs about $8 to $10 to make a sweatshirt, but again, I am also selling those for $30. Oh, I forgot to say something. I also was supposed to buy a Cricut Easy Press, to press all of my vinyl onto my shirts. However, I had the opportunity to actually borrow one, so instead of spending that extra $200, right now I'm just borrowing something, and hopefully in the future I will be able to buy mine. But right now, I'm taking advantage of that. So I am also approachable. Like I said, I am a theater kid myself. I'm a stereotypical theater kid, and everyone knows me as the stereotypical theater kid. So everyone who really likes theater, I guess, would feel comfortable reaching out to me and know that I actually care about my product since it is all basically theater related. I also am very outgoing and very outspoken, and I love to talk to people, so I'm going to definitely reach out to all my customers and ask them how they like their product, if there's any improvements, any suggestions that they have, like anything that they want to tell me, I'm absolutely willing to listen. And I also am going to be really active on social media, so people that are my age I know are also pretty active on social media. So they'll feel comfortable reaching out to me just because they'll see my posts a lot, and they'll be like, wow, this girl wants to talk. Okay, so the Artie Shirts team consists of just me. I am the only person. I buy the shirts, I create the shirts, I do everything on my own. However, my best friend Livia Nieves is also a stereotypical theater kid. So she is going to, she helps me make sure that people are actually going to want these designs. I reach out to her and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this shirt? Or like, what quote would you like to see on a shirt? Which quote would you feel comfortable wearing in public? So I actually have not sold anything yet just because it took a very long time. I was not expecting the amount of time that it took for me to make these shirts, but I enjoyed every second of it. I just haven't had time to sell them yet. However, I'm expecting to sell maybe 20 shirts in May, and I'm expecting that to just continue to rise casually during the summer. However, in September, Broadway is suspected to open back up, so I'm really hoping that during that month, people are going to really want to buy more stuff because they're excited that Broadway's opening back up. So I have a big jump in September, and it goes down a little bit in like October, November, just because I will be in college and it'll be more difficult to juggle business in college, but I definitely want to continue it. I am also donating 10% of my proceeds to the Young Artist Fund at the Hoagland Center for the Arts. I am in the Hoagland Education Program, which is something that really has changed my entire life. It has helped me grow my love for theater and help me find people with the same passions and interests as me. So I want to help people be able to experience that as well. If you are in this class, you can do so many different things. You can take acting, dancing, singing classes. You can take, I don't know, makeup classes. I just took a puppetry class and I made my own puppet. So it's really interesting and you can just expand your love for theater. So I want to help other people with that. Here are some testimonies of mine. I sent out these two designs that I have up here too. I sent out these two designs to some people that I know and I asked them if they felt, how they felt about them. And so this is what they told me. Everyone really just appreciates the simplicity of the design because they feel more comfortable wearing it out in public. It matches with more things. I'm wearing one right now and it matches with my outfit, I think. And my favorite thing is my best friend Livia says, like, I'd wear that in public and not feel stupid. So if she's not gonna feel stupid, I feel pretty good about it. So keep up with me. I love to get to know every single person in here, and if you have any questions, I absolutely would love to answer them. I am available on my Instagram at Artie Shirts, and I'm also on Facebook. I have not really done anything on Facebook yet, but I'm definitely going to do stuff, don't worry. So yeah, you can find me on all of the social medias and here. So thank you.
Hey, great job.
Thank you.
But you're so shy.
Oh,
It seems.
sorry.
No, great presentation, really lively, great energy. A question, what kind of research did you have to do to source your t-shirts, and where did you end up finding your t-shirts?
So I actually I did not know if I was going to have product for Shark Tank just because I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do, and I didn't really think about it. Oops. However, I actually just bought all of these shirts at Michael's. They were on sale, so it worked pretty well for me. So yeah, that's where I ended up buying all my shirts. I am planning on continuing to buy shirts in bulk or buy them wholesale because it's easier and more affordable that way. But if I do continue to grow my business and make more money, I'd actually really like to go to resale shops or like Goodwill, Salvation Army, places where I can find t-shirts that have been donated and then use those to create my shirts so I can steal from Grace's idea and not let those clothes become part of that goes into the landfills.
Great.
Your enthusiasm is terrific. That's great. I'm not real clear on how you plan to go to market. Are you just online? Are you going to sell through other shops? Or what's your plan there?
Yeah, so right now I am solely marketing through social media, Instagram and Facebook. However, I am hoping that once the Hoagland opens back up for shows, I'm hoping that maybe I can weasel my way in and see if I can sell some of my shirts at the Hoagland and see if people if people want to come see a show, maybe they'll want to purchase a shirt that reminds them of that experience. So I'm gonna see once they open back up to see if it's okay for me to sell there. But right now it's just on social media and word of mouth.
And you might remind them that you're giving them 10%. That might be your ticket
Exactly.
in there. So.
Your enthusiasm is contagious. I have a question. Have you thought about calling, well, first off, how long did it take you to Cricut cut and press every shirt?
Very long. I invaded my brother's room because there was no room in my room or like in the basement to do it. So I took over his room and he was trying so hard to go to sleep last night. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning and I was like, sorry, I'm not done yet.
So like an hour a shirt, like 2 hours a shirt?
Okay, so it really actually, it might be the fact that I get distracted that makes me take so long. The shirts really, these designs, the bigger ones, take longer just because I have to do them all like on an individual sheet of vinyl. However, like that design on the back, I put all of those on one sheet, so it was a lot easier to get them cut out.
When you're looking at your business plan, just a question, have you reached out to any of the local like press stores to see, because your average cost per sweatshirt is what, $20?
$30.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, your cost.
Oh, to make them?
Yes.
It's like $10.
Okay, $10
Yeah.
for, and then $5 for t-shirt?
Yeah.
Do you think it'd be worth your time and your margin percent to like, call Primo or somebody and have them buying the shirts wholesale and pressing them and then if any, did you ever look into that, possibly?
Okay, so I have not actually looked into that just because I really enjoy doing it.
yeah.
It takes a very long time, but the thing is I think as I get better at it or I have more experience with it, I think it'll take me less time. And I don't know, it's really therapeutic for me. Like I'm I'm just gonna press some shirts for 3 hours. It's fun.
No, that's awesome. And I love that you're so passionate about it. So, well, congrats, that's great.
Thank you.
Just to follow up on her question, my only advice would be every hour you spend making the shirt, you're not selling the shirt. So if you had somebody else making that, and then you could be like looking for theater events on social media, looking for people who say they're attending that, then trying to connect with them, because that would be someone that's interested maybe in your shirt.
Yeah.
So just kind of keep that in mind
Yeah.
as you go through it and become hopefully more efficient in what you're doing.
Yeah,
so.
I definitely think if I expand, one of the sharks earlier mentioned using Redbubble, which is, if you don't know what that is a website that like you put your designs on there and they can print them on shirts, stickers, cups, anything. And if I end up like expanding and wanting to expand past like the area that I'm in, I definitely I would look into having someone else press my shirts or having another company that I can go through that would just make it a little bit easier for me to market to other people.
I love the idea with the Hoagland and a partnership. I think they'd be very interested in. What experience would you want your consumer to have once they put that T-shirt on?
Yeah. Well, all of my shirts, whoa, I almost just fell over and that would have been really funny. Anyway, all of my shirts have just like universal quotes on them. So like even though they're from musicals, they're like, this one says no day but today. This one says wrongs will be righted if we're united. This one says you will be found. It's the one that I'm wearing but in gray. And this one is even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. So along with it being like a musical thing, I want people to be able to look at it and again be like, hey, like that's true, and like just inspire themselves and inspire other people. I just want them to feel like cute, comfortable, but like also remember, hey, this is a good message on my shirt and I'm going to remember it and inspire the people around me.
Yeah, when I see them, I get the experience that you're conveying, and I love that idea. So well done.
Thank you very much. I didn't turn it off.
Our next presentation, XO and Co.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elena White, and my business partner is Sophia Bonansinga. We do have a third business partner, Anna Phelan, but unfortunately she wasn't able to make it with us today. Nonetheless, we are a local trucker hat business, and we call ourselves XO & Co. Next slide.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have entered the pandemic personal style apocalypse. Although that may sound extreme to some of you, we're here to explain why that might not actually be the case. During the pandemic, my style fluctuated a ton. I felt like in the beginning, I dressed in only sweatpants and sweatshirts, and I was super casual, and I never wore makeup, and I just didn't really feel like myself. Towards the end, I started to get dressed just to feel something. 1 second, I'm just getting my breathing regulated. Okay, so towards the end, I started to get dressed just to feel something, just to feel like myself, but that's not really doable because you're not going anywhere, you're not doing anything. So that's why comfortable but cute became really trendy. Next slide, sorry. Okay, so XO & Co is a solution to that problem. We provide cute and comfortable, unique touches to everyday outfits. Our hats are super colorful and fun, and our current inventory includes 5 hats, 3 of which are presented to you today.
All right, I'm sure most of you, especially local business owners, have seen the trending hashtag #SupportLocal. Right now, it is most important to support local businesses more than ever because of the pandemic. Since the pandemic happened, local businesses have had a lack of income, and it has put a huge strain on their business model. By supporting our local business, you're positively impacting the local economy.
Our competitors include stores like Urban Outfitters and Shields, who sell really low quality items at super high prices.
We're consumers too, and so when we go to buy something, we want to make sure that it is a good product or service for a fair price, and it leaves us feeling like a valued customer. We market to girls who are in the age range of 16 to 22 and who are in the Sangamon County. Sophia and I are both 18 years old, which is right in the middle of that age range, and we live in Sangamon County, so we just feel like we can relate to them the most.
Next slide. We surveyed 150 girls ages 16 to 22 to make sure we accurately predicted the habits of our target market. So 80.2% of them said that they had an improved mood when they got ready each day, while 68.7% of them reported that it took 20 minutes or less to get ready each day. 51% reported that their style has gotten more casual since the pandemic first began, which is very accurate to everything that we predicted.
Right now, we are marketing solely on Instagram, and you can find us on there at shopxo_co. I recommend that you follow us. But we love interacting with our followers on there, seeing them like our pictures, comment our pictures, and through our insights, we can see if they're sharing our posts, which we like to see the most because that means that they're sending it to their friends or posting about it, which we love to see to get the word out there. When we get our products to our customers, we have a couple different ways that they can receive them. They can either pick it up from us totally free, or we have free delivery days on Saturday where Sophia or I or Anna will go and drop the hats off to them for free, but that's only on Saturdays. Since we're high school students, we tend to be a little bit busier during the week, but if the customer really wants their hat, we can get it to them during the week. They just have to pay $3 extra for gas and just the use of our time. If they're not in the Sangamon County area, it's a $6 flat fee in addition for shipping.
So our hats cost $11 to make, and we sell them for $20. So that's a 45% profit margin, which is actually really impressive considering the size of our business and we're just starting out. And in our first month, we sold all 24 units, and we're projected to increase 30% each month. So our initial profit was $216, and if we increase
As we plan to, we will have made $1,129 as of August 2021.
Thank you for your time, and we hope that you consider purchasing one of our trucker hats.
Well done, and thank you for the pink one.
Well,
I
of
think
course.
that goes well.
Real men wear
And,
pink.
That's what I said.
What feedback have you gotten about the different designs? Do you have one that's more popular than another?
So we actually had another hat that was a rainbow and it said over it, but it sold out within the first 2 weeks that we had it on there. So I would say that was our most popular. Other than that, the pink smiley face, I would say, has sold the most. We also bought the most units of the pink smiley face because it's kind of like a trademark for us.
And do you make the smiley face and then apply it to the hat, or is that all purchased ahead of time?
So we purchase the patches separately from the hats, and then we iron them on.
Great, thank you.
Do you guys see this always kind of being your logo, or are you going to branch out, have multiple styles, or do you think when you, quote unquote, the new term I learned today, do a drop, like it creates more of a demand for people to buy that individual product?
So actually, with the beginning idea of this company, we were like, okay, so we should have a signature hat maybe, which we would consider the pink smiley face, and then we can expand from there. So even after this, we're considering going into customizable hats and also expanding to more masculine looking hats.
That's awesome. Love it.
Thanks, nice job. I'm a little confused. You started opening by saying you were truckers' hats?
Yeah, that's the
And then
style of the
it's-
hat.
Oh, that's the style of the
Yeah,
hat. See, I
the
don't
mesh
know
back
about-
and
okay.
the
Yeah, that's-
adjustable background is a traditional trucker hat.
Okay, because I was thinking that seems like more men, but you
Right.
said your demographic was
Well,
women.
that was
All right.
also part of the point that I guess we never really addressed too, is when you like go to a store and you look for a hat, usually it's just like a college hat, which can be kind of boring sometimes, or it's like hats definitely geared more towards men, and so I think it's nice to give a little female touch to it.
Got it. I've learned something yet again.
The trucker hats are all over MySpace. But as far as other products, are you thinking of different styles of hats or other clothing or any apparel?
We've thought about like expanding into baseball hats because again, typical like your dad's wearing a baseball hat, you know, type of thing. But I mean, we've thought about it, but I think to like keep it pretty simple and almost like this is our signature thing, this is our company, we're just gonna stick to trucker hats.
We definitely want to stick more to just hats, but the type of, like what's on the hat will definitely change more.
Right.
I think like what we plan to do if we continue our business on into the school year is do sort of like college hats, like, you know, unique college hats, like not one you'd find in Shields or different things like that.
Very cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next presentation is Neighbor Narratives.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hi, my name is Asta Nimavat,
And my name is Ben Parker.
and our business is Neighbor Narratives. In a recent survey we gave out, 52.1% of the respondents reported being out of touch with their community. Since the pandemic began, we've noticed that we've been out of touch with our friends and family, and the people in our survey indicated the same as well. Next slide. In the same survey, 1/3 of the respondents said that they have had poor or very poor mental health since the pandemic began. And we saw a correlation between people being isolated from their friends and family, along with a negative impact on their mental health.
We believe we can combat these issues by telling people stories. We've all had struggles, especially in the last year, and we feel this way because we feel that our stories are not being shared. So we reached out to individuals in our community, and we sat down with them, and we had them tell us their stories. We did this in the form of an interview. We filmed and recorded these interviews, edited it, and we share it on social media. Here's an example of our finished product.
What our world was going to be like.
And we thought, oh, this isn't going to last. You know, we'll have to go back.
So this is a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic.
There are 4 essential features to our product that we want you to know about. What you just saw was one of them. That is the attention grabber. It's an 8-second clip at the beginning of each of our videos. It's 8 seconds because 8 seconds is the typical time span of somebody's, or attention span of somebody scrolling on social media. Next is a 1 to 2 minute time span of the whole video. We make it 1 to 2 minutes so it's easy for anyone to sit down and watch it during their everyday lives. The second and third, the third and fourth thing are the theme and the questions. We have a theme for each series, and each video encompasses a certain set of questions. Next slide.
Our business is structured as a nonprofit publication. So after we record and edit these videos, we post them onto social media for our consumers to see for free, and these are on Instagram and Facebook. And because the videos are available for free, our revenue and expenses are very minimal. The only costs associated with our videos are the equipment we use to record them, as well as the laptops and other technology we use to edit them. In line with that, our revenue is minimal right now, and we do not have any, as our videos are for free. However, in the future, we hope to expand to be a nonprofit news publication that is based on social media that provides not just videos, but other forms of content that share the stories of our community. Next slide. Since our videos are available on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, we did research on their consumers and users since 2012, and both platforms have had a steady increase in users over the years, meaning that as we continue to use these platforms, our views should increase as well. Next slide. Our target market consists of Springfield Instagram and Facebook users. However, we split these into 3 distinct groups. The first group is school-age children, and these are people who are active on social media and interested in social activism. They're interested in hearing the stories about their community as well as helping those around them. The next group would be working age adults, and currently those are the ones who we are interviewing in these videos, and these include essential workers and frontline workers, such as in the video you saw, teachers and healthcare workers. Finally, our last group would be retirees, and these are people who have been out of touch with their community since retiring from their jobs, and they can use our videos as a quick way to gain an understanding of what's going on in their community. Next slide.
Since our videos are on social media, we consider our competitors to be other social media accounts, but we like to call them more distractions, not necessarily competitors. Will our potential viewers come to our page, or will they navigate to another page or another app? And this is where the 1 to 2 minutes and the attention grabber is really important. We want to grab these people so they can watch our videos before they navigate away. Next slide. What else is important is the marketing strategy. Since we're on social media, it's really important. It's really easy to get our videos out there. We can put hashtags on it. We can share it on our personal accounts. Our friends have already shared some of our videos. Next, our interviewees also share our videos with their families and their friends on their social medias. We like to go through them too. And finally, we go through our schools as we are students and the businesses that we reach out to help share our videos. Next slide. Our end goal for growth is to have 2,000 views per video by August. Right now, we're sitting at about 280 views for our first video we posted about a week ago, and our account has 155 followers. As our followers grow, our views will follow. And when our views grow, we hope to reach out to more people in the community, and we hope to expand our content, and in future products, unite the community in as many ways as possible. Thank you for listening.
Well done, really interesting. Do you hope to have any revenue?
No.
Currently, we hope we are not having any revenue, but in the future, as we mentioned, when we'd expand to a nonprofit news publication, certain websites such as, for example, Snapchat, they still do not have revenue, but they are gaining it from outside sources such as ads, so we believe we can do the same if we expand in the future.
Though it's a not-for-profit structure, I would suggest you look into some revenue.
We will look into it.
Matter of fact, I like it. So how do you pick the content for these videos?
Well, so our first series, we're doing it in series. So we've posted episode 1 for our first series. And this one is about the impact of COVID-19. And we just thought that was an important thing to start with, especially like at the beginning of our pitch, we mentioned the mental health decline and all that. And we thought that was an important thing because our mission is to unite the Springfield community. And so that's what we wanted to start with. And a future project that we're looking at is entrepreneurship, obviously because we're in the CEO class. So today, we've been interviewing people here and taking videos of some pitches and of the trade show. Because we're thinking that our next project will have to do with entrepreneurship because that is also important in uniting the community.
Okay, so lots of different approaches.
Yes.
On this. Okay, great, thanks.
Will you guys get involved with schools and kind of like do series with schools potentially? Like I know you said you talked to teachers and healthcare workers, but like as far as your series go, are you going to bring light into it? Is it going to be I guess, what am I trying to say? It sounded better in my head. Like, as far as, like, you go, like, when the way that you're platforming it, as far as on your Instagram, is it going to be a thing that it, like, slowly evolves and, like, from one video to the next? Or are you going to take completely different approaches in the series?
Well, our series will be separate from each other. So our first series of COVID-19 won't really flow into our potential second series of entrepreneurship. We'll have, episode 1 through whatever, and then the next series. But as far as schools, we're talking to, like you said, we're talking to educators now. But looking into something with students is definitely something we want to do. We're going to college pretty far away, pretty much as far away from each other as you can possibly be. We're staying in the same country. She's on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. So something we've looked at, it was actually Nabee's idea, I want to give him credit, but is talking to students that have come out of Springfield and are now living elsewhere like we're going to be, and talking to them about, the experience of whether it was like when they did live in Springfield and why they are left and will they go back, something like that. So yes, we do want to talk to students.
Do you think you'll branch out onto YouTube and have like a YouTube channel over Instagram?
Currently, our videos are on Instagram, but we do hope to put them on YouTube at some point just because the quality is better on YouTube and you can access it pretty easily.
Okay, awesome.
Do your videos have captions that are on there while they're playing?
Not right now. That's
Okay.
something we have thought about, and we could put them in ourselves, but we need to look into a feature on Instagram. I'm sure there's a feature on Instagram where you can turn on closed captioning. I know even if we post on YouTube, I know on YouTube
Sure.
there's a feature where you can turn on closed captioning and YouTube does it for you.
Well, sometimes, I'm in the advanced age group, but when I'm watching a video on social media, if I don't have the sound up, I can still tell what the video's about if the captions are showing up. Like,
Right.
that's just one thing I observed. So just
Oh, yeah,
idea.
that's something we need to look into
Yeah.
more, definitely.
What message, is there a theme on the message? Is it kind of community mobilizing or movement or?
Uniting the community.
Uniting the community. And then validating what that message is through views. I've seen that video. It's great, by the way.
The final product, the 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's wonderful, and it moved me, and I'm just curious what the movement is for your audience. Is it a particular movement? Just uniting is what I'm hearing.
Yes, we weren't trying to get political with our videos, but we have noticed that the political atmosphere recently in our country has divided people even more, and we know the pandemic hasn't helped with unity a ton. People just seem to be growing apart, and we want to show the individual stories in our community to help bring people together, whether it is about the impact of COVID or entrepreneurship or being a student.
Yeah, I love the mission
Thank you.
of that. Back to maybe John's question, funding through nonprofits to support it, is that the idea?
Yes.
Okay. And can I ask a question about anti-revenue position?
Sure.
Yep.
Anti-revenue position.
Well, currently, we want to provide our videos for free because when you're telling stories, we don't want to have a barrier for anyone to be able to access them. And we believe that if you monetize that and put revenue on it, it would kind of go against the mission statement that we have of being able to unite people because it would just be more difficult to see.
It would influence the outcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Great.
you look at a lot of current news sources, and in a lot of people's minds, news sources are at the heart of the problem of division. And we really don't want that to be the case for us. We want people to be able to watch our content and our videos and not think, and not have it not divide them even more.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Should I turn it off now, or? Oh, there's one more?
Well, all right. Thank you. Good job. So our next presentation is Saturn Ring, and I'm not Emma, obviously. Emma Carell is a top athlete in Springfield. She plays soccer for Springfield High, and on her last game, she was injured. So she was able to be here for the initial round, and she pitched, but unfortunately, she wasn't able to be here for this final round. And I know she's very sad that she couldn't make it, so here's what we're going to do since she did make it to the final round. We're going to play her presentation, and as we flip through the slides, we're just going to clap for Emma to show her support. You with me? You with me? Everyone with me? Okay. So let's play her slides, please, Jess. Thank you. And as we flip through, we're going to clap for Emma. All right. Thank you. So this was the end of our presentations for the second round. So here's what happens next. The Sharks are going to exit this auditorium and go to a room, and they will talk about the top 6 presentations of what we saw today. Meanwhile, we will take a brief break, so about 10 minutes, water break, use restroom, get some water, walk around, and at 4:40, we will be back here in the auditorium. We have some closing remarks, and then we'll announce the winners. We have some trophies to hand out, and then we'll take some pictures. All right? Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being here. This has been a long day, but a great and very successful day. So before we move on, I'd just like to take a minute to recognize all the students in the audience and all their hard work and everything they've done to make this event possible. And it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jorge Villegas, the incoming president of the Sangamon CEO program.
I hit microphone. All right. Can you hear me well? All right, so thank you so much. Nabi, by the way, I might be president. We still need to vote. So there might be somebody better than me, and probably anybody from the board would be. Yeah, I'm sure there is. So anyway, I have here a little bit of some notes. First of all, there's some board members here, Brett and Kathy over there. Anybody else from the board? I don't see any, and of course myself. And I'm Jorge Villegas. I'm at UIS. I teach there. And I'm also a member of the board, as Navi was mentioning. And by the way, the chair, the current chair is Lisa Petrelli, and she was unable to be here today. She really wanted to be here, but it was not possible. Before I start with some comments, first of all, thank you so much to all of you, sharks, or donors, that there are some here in this room today, the parents, and of course, all of you students. They've done amazing things this semester. And of course, to Nabi. Thanks so much, Nabi. Great work. So anyway, you might ask, what do we do as a board? Well, we basically help fundraising. We try to keep tabs on Nabi, which we can't, but we try. We try hard. You know, can you imagine receiving an email saying, hey, we're going to start an ice rink? What? Anyway, but he did well. And you did really well together. But that's pretty much our job. Fundraising, trying to understand better how to improve the programs, and trying to keep track of everything that we do and create better and better programs with the help of people at Return, with the help of the community, and so on and so forth. Can you do me a favor? I know that you've been signing up all day long, but the CEO students, raise up. All right. Now, not to get corny or anything like that, because you're going to graduate and all that stuff, but think about this. What have you accomplished in this semester or this year in this class? Just think for a second. You create an ice rink, a freaking ice rink. I'm still amazed by that. You were out there in the cold. I was at home. Okay? You were creating new things. You know, I saw some of your presentations, like your T-shirts. I love your idea of the T-shirts. And I was at home working, doing Zoom meetings, okay? You demonstrated this community what you can do if you have passion, creativity, and just the desire to help. You have no idea how many people say, an ice rink? Really? And people went there, they had fun, and you even made money, a lot of money. You know, that's absolutely amazing. And don't get this into your heads, but that's great. What you've done is an amazing amount of work. And 4 months from now, how many of you are going to be in college? Or you might go to a community college, or you might have a job, right? But it's going to be completely different from high school. You are going to be worried. You are going to be, not knowing what's happening. I can assure you that. It's not going to be easy your first days at college. But remember right now, look around you. Look around you, please, for realsies. Do it. Don't look this way. Okay? 4 months from now, remember this moment. People believe in you, and you deliver, right? Right? So what does that mean in college? That you are going to do well, right? Regardless of what you expect, regardless of, I'm afraid of this place, I don't understand people smell funny in this place, I don't know. Whatever it is, right? It doesn't matter. You did really well here, you can do well anywhere. Because we believe in you, this community. How many donors do believe in you? Do you know how many people donate to these programs? Many. I don't know the numbers, but there's many people that believe in this program and believe in you. How many people went to the ice rink? How many people were here as sharks, and so on and so forth? This community is behind you. Or you can ask Nabi, Send an email to Nabi, in 4 months from now, and say, who believes in me? He will say, yes, me I do. But everybody else as well, okay? So please understand that what you've done here is amazing. You did all of this during a pandemic, where a lot of people we were worried about, we were working from home or whatever, yet you were out there doing everything you could to stay safe, healthy, and at the same time, create new things. How cool is that, right? So think about that. 4 months from now is going to be not easy, I can assure you that, but think about that. You have friends, you have family, you have a whole community that believe in you. And we'll do whatever we can to make you successful. Because it's not about, it's not really about if you're going to be successful, right? It's about when. That's it. You just take time. Some people might do it immediately, some people might take some semesters. But think about that. Remember this day, 4 months from now, when you're moving to a new place, when you're on your first class, you say, I can do this. I create an ice rink. Who else can say that, right? Who else can say, I put together a new product, right, in the middle of this pandemic? So anyway, thank you very much for everything that you do for us. I hope to see you in graduation. I hope that we'll see you often and that you continue in contact with Nabi and the rest of the board. If there's anything that we can do for you, we'll do it for you. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. So now I have invited David Jang and Avery Pound, students in the Sangamon CEO program, to announce the winners of this final round and this whole event. And I also invite the Sharks, Desi, John, maybe, Kim, Ryan, also maybe, and Bruce to come out here on stage with us. And David and Avery, if you can come forward.
This first award is for Best Stage Appearance, and it goes to Beach Hut, Tori Harmony.
Tonight, we have Brad Zara in the house to present the Myra Hoffman Award. Mr. Zara, would you please come up here? The Myra Hoffman Award is presented to the company with the best graphics. And this year, the best graphics of the Myra Hoffman Award goes to Shuffled Selections.
This next award goes to overall best presentation. And the winner of this award is Mixing Bowl, Callie and Kenzie.
And for the final 3 awards of today, we'll be giving out the first, second, and third place winners of the 2020-2021 Shark Tank. And the third place winner of this year's Shark Tank is Giving Graciously, Grace Petty.
The second place winner is Thrifted Threads, Grace Mays.
And the first place winner of the 2020-2021 Shark Tank for the Sangamon CEO program, drum roll please. She's been in the game for a while. It's C.K. Kavanaugh Photo, Claire Kavanaugh. All right, a round of applause to all the winners. And to all of our sharks, thank you so much, and to David and Avery. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, this is the conclusion of our event. CEO students, please stay behind for a minute. Everyone else, thank you for coming. We really appreciate your time, and have a great weekend. Thank you.